Hey guys, it's Yusuf, and with more and more people working remotely, digital collaboration is so important, which is why today I'm going to show some tips and tricks using Microsoft Whiteboard. Microsoft Whiteboard is a great tool to have a digital whiteboard that you can share, not just like sharing your screen on a Teams meeting, but you can invite people and see live updates as they're working in the app. And you can use that on your desktop or mobile or tablet devices. It's definitely recommended if you have a tablet device that has a stylus pen capability, because obviously you can draw and update and be more effective. What I'm going to show today is how to use it. I'm just using this like old school iPad mini I have that doesn't have a stylus pen, so you can see kind of some tricks on how you can use it effectively without having that pen to give you those defined lines. And so what I'm going to do is just record this screen. All right, so when I'm in a Microsoft Whiteboard, I just click Create New Whiteboard. I can see at the top that I have, my back button to go back to the main screen. I can invite users. When I do invite them, I can see who is viewing the whiteboard. I can see my toolbar at the bottom, and I have my pens. I have my add button for new actions. We'll get into these tools a little more. But if you're using something like an iPad mini that doesn't have a pen, kind of like the newer models or a Surface or anything like that, when I go to draw, you'll see all I'm doing is moving my screen around. And it's because I have to get into my settings and make some updates. So I'm going to hit the settings button, and I can see active pen. So if you have a tablet or a tool that lets you have a pen to draw, you'd want it to have it checked, but if you don't, you'll uncheck it. So I can X out of there. Now I'll see my toolbars change a little bit. So what I can do is, let's say if I'm planning a new Power App I want to make, I can go ahead and start maybe a list. So when I hit that plus sign, I see some options. I'm going to do the list. When I have the list selected, you'll see those little dotted lines. I can move it around. And so maybe for my list, what I'm going to do is hit the edit button. And by default, it's called list, but I'm going to call it objectives, right? And so maybe I just want to put here, what is it that I want my app to do? And let's say if I'm doing a time tracking app, I might want to write track time to project and task. Maybe that's kind of the goal. Maybe whatever they're using now, they can't track it to a project or a task level. So maybe I want that. I also want managers to be able to approve. And so here I have a simple list. And with that list, you just click on an item to edit, or you can click the type here to add a new line. So now let's go into, if I want to do a note grid. So note grid is pretty cool. What I can do with that is, let's move it up a little. I can click the add note button and put something like, let's say if we're talking about data sources that I'd use. So maybe SQL Server is one of them. Hit done. I can hit add note, and I can do another one. So I'm going to use, let's say SharePoint's going to be used some way. And at any point, I can go in there and add more notes, more details. I can click on the actual sticky note and change the color of it if I wanted. I can delete it. I can copy it. I can cut it, move it. And so now I can have this kind of note grid here. I'm just going to line this up because it's kind of bothering me. Now, when I do click on an item, and I see the dotted line, that lets me know I can move it. But I could also click over here to change the angle, to make it larger, make it smaller, whatever I'd like. And now it's, as I look at it, like I was kind of struggling to get it to straighten out. And so what I can do is I can go ahead to my settings, and I want to put object snapping. It's going to make it a little easier for me. And every time you change the settings while in it, it does take, I've noticed, like a few 30 seconds to go ahead and update. So before we kind of play with that, I'm going to show some other features. I can click the photo icon and I can go into my photos and update some or add a photo in there. So maybe if I was doing kind of like a mood board of apps I like, but I can also in my app, or sorry, on my iPad, go into, let's say if I'm searching images of kind of apps I like to get an idea, I can copy those. And then from there, I can go ahead and paste. So what I did was just hold and press and click the clipboard, and then there it is. So that image I just copied is now there. So when it comes into using the drawing tool, let's say if I'm kind of like doing a rough brainstorm of how the app would look like, I'm going to draw a square, and you can only make it so perfect with your finger. It looks super janky. So like if I was trying to like show a gallery of items, pretty janky looking thing. So what I can actually do is go back to my settings, and I'm going to check ink to shape, which will help me enhance a drawing to the shape it should be, as well as ink to table. And I'll show you that as well, what we can do. Also, just while we're in the settings tab, I can clear my whole canvas if I want to, and format my background. So maybe I wanted a dotted background or squares. For me, I just want solid. I can change it to black, different colors, all that. So now that I've turned on the settings, so I got this little red error, might be asking you to sign in. So that's what it's doing now. So now what, and you can just click it, but I'm not going to re-sign in right now. So now that I've turned on those settings, what happens is when I draw, if I draw my square, you'll see it auto kind of corrects itself to look like a square. So let's go over here, and now let's say, all right, I'm going to draw my square. If I put a line through the middle, I've now created a table. So I can actually add columns, I could add rows, I can, take that off. I can expand them, make them smaller, all these great things. And so you can actually make a table in here that you can add either text or drawings to, resize it so we can see it, straighten it out. And now I actually have a table I can use. And once you click on it, like I said, you can just go ahead and add columns and rows, and now you have a table. Same thing now if I were to draw, let's say, a circle, it'll correct it. So great feature to kind of have those objects, whoops, I'm still in the pen tool, to have those objects auto-corrected. Triangle, now perfect triangle. So sometimes you also want to make notes. You want to draw some kind of markups or notes. So let's say if I want to put, I'm going to call this ideas. And now it's like I don't have the best writing, right? So I can click on this and hit the magic wand. And what this will do is now kind of corrects it for me so it's more eligible. So super easy if you have kind of horrible finger writing like I do. Other great things in here, if I click that plus sign, we've done text, we've done the note grid, we've done a list. But if you want to get started and you're kind of like, how do I get started on using the tool? You can click template. And there are different templates for different objectives, whether you're doing effective meetings, SWOT, project meeting, project milestones. If I click the project milestones one, what I'll get is now this super cool pre-made template that I can jump into and use. So, and that's the other thing, what I just did right now. So I can only see part of it. If I double click somewhere, I'll see the whole whiteboard, and now I can zoom in and I can go ahead and use this. You also have in here the camera button, so I can go ahead and do a photo of myself if I wanted to, or right now, whatever it's showing. And you can drop that in there. So really cool things. And I think this is a super fun way to feel a little more connected while collaborating digitally. And so I hope a few of these tips helped you out and you guys can get started on having your digital collaboration with Microsoft Whiteboard. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.